Prasth Apollo Hospital, New Delhi. Today we have the privilege and pleasure to be speaking on CSI TV, which is being organized by the Cardiological Society of India, Hyderabad, and today is 2nd of December 2021. It's about 4 p.m. on Friday afternoon. So I just now gave a lecture. The topic was heart rate variability and imminent cardiovascular risk. That means, is there any relationship? Is there any relationship between the heart rate or what we call as pulse rate? Most of the time, heart rate is equivalent to pulse rate. Is there any relationship between the heart rate and, in public language, for the public, future heart attacks or angina or coronary artery disease? This was a topic and which has been actually, I spoke about for 12 minutes, and we started with the 1999 articles, 1986 articles, then Framingham study, then Finn study, then Osama study, and they were divided into three groups: heart rate variability and imminent cardiovascular risk. That means what is the risk associated with increased heart rate. And they have done the home monitoring, they have done various studies, they have done the home monitoring of the heart rate. So it was divided into three groups. One is the group that means healthy men, that means the people who do not have any heart problem as such, healthy men. Number two was patients of high blood pressure, and they found out whether there is a heart rate variability which leads to increased heart attack. And third was patients who have already heart disease, like they have a documented coronary artery disease, which is a blockage inside the coronary arteries, which leads to angina and later on sometime heart attack because of the fresh occlusion. So those patients, do we have any data which can say that controlling heart rate has got a positive effect in reducing the cardiovascular mortality, that means deaths? And the last was the patients who have heart failure. That means the patients who have reduced heart functions, and which is mostly measured by echocardiography. And at echocardiography shows that whether the patient has got low ejection fraction. The measurement for the heart function is ejection fraction, which is measured by echocardiography. So these are the four groups we took. So in the healthy men, they followed a lot of patients. There was a study which showed that even in healthy men, if somebody's basic heart rate is about 90 or 100, resting heart rate, basic means resting heart rate, patient is at rest and the heart rate is more than 70, and there is a risk, increased risk of future cardiovascular event in the form of angina or heart attack. This was one point. Coming on to the hypertension, there was a large study, Framingham study, which showed, and they had 29,000 patients, and they followed for 32 years, and they found that the patients, even of high blood pressure, if they have a higher heart rate also, these patients are more prone for heart problems, mostly unstable angina or heart attacks. Then the patients who had already had heart attack, again, those patients were followed up. There was a small study about 4,000 patients, and they also found that these patients are benefited. And again, for the heart failure, this is well known. For the heart failure, a lot of trials like SOLVE trial, consensus trials, PROMISE study, all these trials have shown that controlling the heart rate around 70 or 60, that gives a better life span to the patients who have reduced heart functions. So the final summary was that there are a lot of risk factors for heart disease. One is hypertension, diabetes, smoking, overweight, obesity, sometimes alcohol also, and bad lifestyle. And these are few known cardiac risk factors which leads to blockages inside the coronary arteries, and which eventually leads to stable angina or unstable angina or heart attack. But these are known risk factors. Whenever a physician sees the patient, he says, okay, you have diabetes, you have hypertension, you have smoking, you have overweight. So these things are normally taken. But we are not at the moment concentrating on his basic pulse rate. The topic of interest today was, that means it should be included in the known risk factors. The summary of my talk was that high heart rate as such should be a known risk factor for causing heart attack or angina in future. That means other than what we are doing, we always do blood sugar levels, of course the cholesterol, which I forgot, cholesterols, We check the cholesterol, we see the blood pressure, we see the diabetes, we ask whether the patient is smoking. At the same time, we should do a Holter monitoring of all the patients to assess the need of some medication so that his resting heart rate comes to around 70. Holter means something like 24 hours or 3 days ECG monitoring, where they also tell the basic heart rate. So this should become a part of criteria to assess the risk of future heart events. So this was the summary. That means in the known risk factors, the basic heart rate or resting heart rate should also be included in classifying the patient, whether this patient is likely to have future cardiac events or not. Thank you very much. I hope I am clear in telling you the message. Dr. Professor Vivek Gupta from Delhi Apollo Hospital, New Delhi, and also chairman of the Indo-European Conclaves on 2nd of December around 4:15 p.m. in Hyderabad.